So, you want to use MyFitnessPal to start losing weight? Well, in this video, you're going to learn how to use it in 5 minutes, how to set up MyFitnessPal to start losing weight and really start achieving your goals quickly. So, what are you going to need when it comes to using MyFitnessPal? Well, one, you're going to need this right here, a food scale to use it at least accurately, and two, a phone. Now, my phone is being used to record this video because AKA I'm a broke boy and I don't have a camera. So we're gonna have to play around a little bit, but I'm gonna show you exactly how to use the food scale correctly, and then you can go ahead and learn how to input that right into MyFitnessPal to start losing fat and reaching your goals as quick as possible. Yes, my Christmas tree is still up, leave me alone. So firstly, when it comes to actually getting MyFitnessPal, you can get it on the Apple Play Store, or Google Play Store I should say, in the App Store on iOS devices. You're gonna go ahead and download it. It's a little blue app with a little guy jumping on it. You're gonna go ahead and download it, and then obviously you're gonna need to put in your email and your password to create an account, and you're gonna go through and it's gonna give some selection for you. Like, talk about a little bit about your fitness goals. What are you looking to get out of this app? You know, increase your steps, maintain your weight, whatever. You're gonna go ahead and fill that out, but you're not going to eat that amount of calories, and here is why. The calories that they predict for you based on, your height, your weight, your activity, which is highly wrong, usually wrong. Most people overestimate how active they are. They are usually an overestimate or an underestimate of your calories. There's no way for me to type in a computer and know exactly how many calories you, a specific, unique person, needs to eat. There's just no way to do it. The way you're gonna figure this out after you punch in all of your, maintain weight, all your goals and things like that, what you're going to actually do is ignore the calories they set for you. You're first gonna go over to settings and you're gonna turn off the add exercise calories. So if you have it tracking your steps, it'll add exercise in based on what it thinks you burned. It's 100% garbage. Do not add back or eat those calories. Take those off because they are inaccurate. You're not going to be eating those. It's going to give you a random calorie amount. Say it's 2,200, 2,600, whatever. You're not going to eat that amount, and you're not going to eat anything about that amount. All you're going to track, if you're just getting started, is the food that you're already eating. So what you're going to do on a weekly or daily basis, you're going to track the food that you're eating. If you eat about the same every day and you notice after this week it's about the same, that's a good thing. If you notice that it's kind of very, very different and varied, you're gonna get the weekly average or even 2 weekly average to get as accurate as possible. If you notice that after this 2 weeks or week, however long you go by, your weight stays the same, within a pound or two, if you're 150 and it goes up to 151.1, or if it goes down to like 148.4, you're pretty much eating at your average calories. You wanna see it within a 1 to 2 pound range, then you're doing pretty good and you're eating at about your body's maintenance calories. That is the whole goal of this. We want to see what your maintenance calories are so we can start making changes from there. If you want to start losing weight, you want to start gaining weight, whatever area of improvement wants to be. That is the goal of tracking and managing. But this also will teach you and show you what you're actually eating in terms of macronutrients. A lot of people think they're eating very, very healthy, but then they look and they're eating very little. They're eating very little protein. They're eating very little fats and carbs. They're eating, a majority of just food from carbs or whatever the case may be. It lets you see exactly what you're actually eating on a daily basis. A little bit of an eye opener. So nonetheless, that is what we're going to do. You're going to track like you would normally do, not changing a single thing besides taking off those calories from exercise because those are garbage. And you're just going to see how many calories you eat based on a 1 or 2 week basis. Okay, so how do you actually go about weighing your food and tracking it in MyFitnessPal? Because a lot of people use MyFitnessPal, but they use the calories that are inputted for you, and they also don't actually track and weigh their food, so they're not really as accurate as possible. So we're actually gonna learn how to actually weigh our food. So, one, you need a food scale. They're like $10 at Walmart. They're like $10 online. You go to JobLot, go ahead and get a food scale. They're real cheap. This one I got at JobLot, it was like $10 and it does the job just perfectly fine. So when you're weighing food, obviously you don't want anything on the surface because that will affect the weight until you actually put whatever you're eating on it. So nonetheless, we're going to be weighing food in grams, and you're also going to be weighing your liquid in ounces or milligrams or milliliters, whatever you want to say. Why? Because that is the smallest decimal point we can get to make it as accurate as possible. You don't want to weigh something that's going to weigh, 40 grams in like ounces, or you're going to weigh it in pounds. Some people weigh in pounds. That's just not really that accurate. It makes it very, very confusing. Just weigh in grams. Everything comes in grams. Everything's metric nowadays. Grams is the best way to go when it comes to weighing solid objects. And for an example on that, we are going to weigh a sweet potato. Now, couple caveats. This is a raw sweet potato. If I were to look it up in MyFitnessPal, you want to look up raw sweet potato. You do not want to look up just cooked potato or even just sweet potato because you never know. So be as specific as you can when you're weighing your food. Nonetheless, turn the scale on. It is reading 0. There's nothing on top, and I'm going to place the sweet potato, remember it's raw, right on top. Let it rest, and it's reading at 191 grams for a raw sweet potato with the skin on, stuff like that. You want to be as specific as you can with the food. What I'm going to do is, in MyFitnessPal, I'm going to type in raw sweet potato, skin on, 191 grams. Now, if you click on it, and it says maybe 1 medium or says like 1 large potato. This can go for anything. If you look up like a fruit and it says like 1 medium apple or 1 medium banana, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on the serving size. So it says 1 medium, you're gonna click on the serving size and you're gonna go down until you see 1 gram or 1 G. You're gonna click on that, hit the check marks, and then you're gonna go down to serving suggestion. And then it's going to change from fractions to decimals. Reason for that is you can get a lot more precise when you're using the decimals, obviously. So you're gonna change it to decimals, you're gonna subtract everything that's there, and then you're gonna put in, if it's 1 gram or if it's even 100 grams, you're gonna put 191 grams. Check, check, boom, input into your add food area. It's very, very simple. That is how you weigh your food. Okay, so it's been about 1 or 2 weeks. You've got your weekly average and you see that your calories are about the same. So you found your weekly maintenance calories, you see that your weight is staying the same. What do you do from here? So now, based on your goals, you can make some changes. If during this time you've been tracking your calories, you've been very sedentary, and you've just been tracking and seeing that you found your maintenance calories with very little activity, then what you can do when it comes to losing weight is start being a little bit more active, and you can start decreasing the calories a little bit. So you can decrease 200 calories from your nutrition, the food you're intaking, and also increase your activity by about 200 calories. That's a decent workout in the gym. That's going and increasing your steps throughout the day. Anything that you enjoy when it comes towards exercise. But if during this time you're a very active person and you still notice that this is the amount of calories you need to maintain you and your activity levels, then you can go ahead and increase your activity level even more, or you can increase your nutrition levels some more. About how many calories should you decrease your total daily expenditure? It should be no more than about 500. Unless you're morbidly obese and you have a lot of fat to lose, you should not be decreasing by more than 500. Usually between 300 to 500 is a very sustainable rate of fat loss for people, resulting in about 0.5 to 1 pound of fat loss per week, which is an amazing rate of fat loss. But like I mentioned, if you're a very lean person, that's very, very reasonable. If you're very, very overweight and you can lose weight faster because you have so much fat stores, you can start losing 1 to 2%, which equals about 1 pound to 2 pounds of fat a week. But I would not do that for that long term. It is something that's more short term that you can do if you're interested in. Now, when it comes to macronutrients, what actually matters and what does not matter? So let's say you're eating about 2,200 calories a day. What should you be getting those calories from? Well, the best choices are going to be lower calorie, high volume foods. Those foods are going to fill you up. Those are things like whole grains, leafy vegetables, or vegetables in general, fruits, whole grains, whatever. I probably say whole grains like 6 times. Lean meats, things like that. Now, do you have to eat that every single day and every single meal? Of course not. But those should be the majority of your meals in order to keep you full while you're eating less fuel or energy than your body actually needs, so you can fuel your workouts, fuel your daily routine, fuel your work, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure you have energy for your body. So what should your split look like? Well, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, the only thing that really matters when it comes to losing weight is going to be a calorie deficit and making sure you're having enough protein you satiated throughout the day. So when it comes to tracking things, calories and protein, you can pretty much let carbs and fats fall where they fall. It does not necessarily matter that much. One thing that I will say is you should be eating enough essential fats a day to sustain yourself. You don't want to literally eat no fat, because that is not going to be good. Your hormones are going to be messed up. Your anabolic hormones, your catabolic hormones, your endocrine hormones, everything's going to be messed up. You want to make sure you're having at least a decent amount of fats, between 30 to 40 grams at the minimum a day, especially if you're a strength training workout athlete. So what about protein? Protein is pretty typical. You should be staying between 0.6 to 1 gram if you're a relatively new lifter and you're getting into strength training. But if you're more advanced and you can handle more protein and you enjoy more protein, you can start moving it to 0.8 to even 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So for me, that would come out to about 155 to anywhere to 225 grams of protein a day. And I do tend to eat more protein. It is more satiating. I'm less hungry throughout the day, so I enjoy eating that. Now for some frequently asked questions when it comes to MyFitnessPal. Is MyFitnessPal for life? That's up to you. If you want to go ahead and track your food for life, you can. You absolutely don't have to, because after you spend some time tracking with MyFitnessPal, you're gonna learn exactly the values of food without even having to really weigh them all the time. This is meant to be a short-term thing, kind of learning the values and educating you when it comes to food, so you can actually see what you're eating. But after you do that, after you spend maybe a couple months, depends on the person, you can kind of branch off on your own and start to do it more intuitively and mindfully, and just kind of know that, hey, I should be eating this, I shouldn't be eating this, you know, my recovery's down, I need to be eating this, and so on and so on. So it's meant to be a short-term thing, not an entire life and obsessing over the weight scale. Should you be weight training while you're trying to cut calories? Absolutely. You want to make sure that you're maintaining and or growing while you're cutting calories, because you can absolutely do both at the same time. Make sure you're having enough protein and enough calories in the day to give you energy to be training, making sure you're having enough water and nutrients like carbohydrates and essential fats to have regular hormone production, and you can build muscle in a calorie deficit. It's 100% possible for a lot of lifters, so it's not an excuse to go ahead and be in a calorie surplus in bulk. You don't have to do that. Just eat enough protein, about 0.6 to 1 gram if you're a beginner, and about 0.8 grams to 1.2 or even 1.5 grams if you're more advanced and you choose to eat more protein. Carbohydrates, keep them on the higher end while you're cutting because they have a satiating effect, and also they will fuel your workouts, and they also have a protein sparing effect. Fats, make sure you're having enough to be at least regulating your hormones so you don't feel terrible. You have testosterone and estrogen in your body, so you're building muscle and keeping it relatively. Lastly, what do you actually have to weigh out when it comes to food and drinks and water and whatever the case may be? You have to weigh everything, because everything besides like water, black coffee, black tea, green tea, things like that, herbal teas, they all pretty much have calories. Even 0-calorie sweeteners have like 1 calorie compared to sugar, which has like a bajillion. So you actually do have to weigh things out. Does it become monotonous and a little bit annoying? Yes, in the beginning, but you get used to it after a while and it becomes very seamless, and to a point where you can just do it in your head and it's not that big of a deal. I will say this, if it's a 0-calorie sweetener or something like that, you don't necessarily have to weigh those out, or diet soda. If you're having a ton of them, then yes, they can add up to like 5, 10, 15 calories if you're having multiple liters of diet soda or 0-calorie monsters or things like that. But if you're just having a couple, you don't really have to worry about it. But even things like multivitamins, gummies, stuff like that, they do tend to have calories in them. Sometimes they have sugar and they have like high fructose corn syrup in them, and you just got to watch out for things like spices tend to not have calories in them, but if they do, read the ingredient label and you'll see that they actually have added sugar, or they have added other stuff that actually does have calories. When it comes to coffee creamers, added sugar, so if you're not using 0-calorie and you're using real sugar, that has calories. If you're drinking something like milk, or you're drinking something like a full sugar soda or juice, that has calories. Everything pretty much has calories besides like water. So weighing it out, you'll actually see how many calories you're eating a day, and it'll be a little bit of an eye opener for you. Even things like salad dressings and sauces and dipping sauces or things like that, they all have calories. So if you're looking to lose weight and really find how many calories you need in a day to lose weight, track it. Unless it says 0 calories on the back of the ingredient label, you want to track it and make sure you're managing your fat loss. That is pretty much it when it comes to MyFitnessPal. It's very, very easy. You know, you get a scale, you get a sweet potato, and every time you eat the sweet potato, you weigh it. Now, I will mention, like I mentioned before, if you're eating something, you want to be as specific can be when you're punching it in. So if you're eating a boneless, skinless chicken breast that's cooked, put in boneless, skinless, cooked chicken breast in MyFitnessPal. Do not put in skin on, bone-in chicken breast when you're eating a boneless, skinless chicken breast. It's pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people will mess that up. Making sure that you're weighing either your food cooked or raw, and making sure you're inputting it that way. Like I mentioned, I'm weighing this raw, so I'm gonna input it into MyFitnessPal as raw. I'm not gonna input it as cooked. It'll change the calories and can have a big difference. Making sure you're weighing coffee creamers, sugars, sauces, things like that, They all have calories. Making sure you're adding those is essential during this time. The whole goal of this is to, once again, get your maintenance calories as accurate as possible, because we're not taking any equations. We're literally taking your body for you. And then from that point, either increasing activity or decreasing the amount of nutrition you're inputting in your body, or doing a little bit of both. And we're gonna be getting results from there. So that is exactly how you use MyFitnessPal. It's very easy and very seamless. Invest in a food scale, it's like 10 bucks, and it'll make a lot of change for you. This is not meant to be forever. This is meant to be short term, but it's going to get you results very, very quickly compared to some bullshit other diets, because this is not a diet, this is a lifestyle change. This is using MyFitnessPal made easy. In 5 minutes. It probably was like 10 minutes, but I was answering questions. You know what the deal is. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions when it comes to MyFitnessPal, make sure to drop them down below in the comments, or reach out to me on Instagram, or whatever the case may be, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Don't do TikTok. Instagram would be best. But nonetheless, drop it down in the comments below. I'll definitely get to it. Hope this helps, and I hope you start getting on with your fat loss and fitness journey. I'm excited for you. Let's do it.